Hi fam. How are you? Okay, so welcome to another Tea Talk for Tuesdays. If you haven't been to my channel before, my name is Starbraid and I'm glad that you're here. I also read tarot, so you can check that out. Beginning of March readings will be coming out soon. Depending on when you're watching this. There's no timestamp. But in these series, we have journals, so feel free to have one. I need to take that sticker off. That's going to bother me. But, this is for just to get you thinking and journaling and personal growth. That's what these are for. Sharing my experiences in hopes that it would help you. But in reality, you guys are helping me too. You're helping me so much. You're helping me grow. You're helping me learn. You're helping me learn to be vulnerable. And I'm so grateful for you guys, for those of you who are subscribed. And I'm also grateful for those who are not. But if you like these, if you like to follow these, please subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, do what you need to do. I hope it resonates with you. Let me know what you're thinking about it in the comments. I will be trying to get in a regular rhythm on my website, and that's coming. There's just, if you did watch my last video, lots of purging happening. However, lots of positive energy for me and personally. Even though sometimes it may not feel like it, even though sometimes I feel a certain way, there's still this lightness that I feel. So, yeah. So anyway, sorry. It's just, I'm basking in it. I had a dream last night. Now, I'm not a professional at dreams. I did have a dream dictionary, but I gave it to a friend who had a lot more dreams than I did up until this point. Now I'm like, where is that dream book? I need it. I've been having so many dreams, very vivid, lots of messages. And the more open I am to it, the more it happens. But she definitely had a lot more dreams than I did. She's a Pisces. So definitely in good hands. But I had this dream. And it wasn't super extraordinary. It's kind of strange, but dreams usually are strange. And I had a dream of me and someone literally, like, we were talking and just joking around. And then all of a sudden, this person was holding me. And I was holding them. It was like, if you've ever experienced that good cuddle where you're just like holding each other and it's just like, yeah. It's just that connection with somebody. It's such a good feeling. And I was just kind of thinking about that while my computer was starting up and everything. I was just basking in that feeling. I was basking in what that felt like. It was just really, really nice. Didn't know what it was about, but it was really, really nice. And, a lot of shifts have been happening. And in my personal life, and I know in a lot of lives around me, a lot of ones that feel negative and a lot of ones that feel positive. And I think a lot of people, the most, and another thing that I've noticed is I'd say I think a lot more. Okay, not I feel. I do feel a lot. I really do. I feel a lot. I'm a Cancer in the 12th house. If you don't know what the 12th house is, that's Pisces. We are two signs that feel a whole lot of shit. To be fair, I think a lot of other signs feel a lot of shit. They just aren't as open to it and about it, and that's fine. But it's like my thing. And it's a Pisces thing too. So definitely feeling a lot. But I'm saying I think a lot because it's time to really reflect. It's time to really not only feel the waters. It's like this saying, I did one of those silly Facebook things, I've been trying to be more active on Facebook so that I can get in touch with people. And a lot of people are like, I love your stuff. It's inspiring, people around this small town. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep going. And I did this weird thing and it said my quality was being straightforward, which it took me a long time to get to that point. Being straightforward, and my quote was, follow your heart and bring your mind with you, which is definitely me. Definitely. I'm all about following your heart, following your dreams, but don't forget your head. Like, don't leave your head behind and just go with your shoulders. Like, it's just not going to work out. You got to know where to aim. But I digress. So yeah, a lot of shifts, a lot of change. I think one of the difficult things for those of us who have been on this journey for a while are seeing a lot of people going through what we went through, both, you know, a while back. You know, this time where it was really hard. You didn't know what to do. You didn't know what to feel. You know what I mean? I know in my situation, I had my friends who were there for me and helped me through it. But we were all still growing. All of us, even though for different things, at different paces, we were all still growing in the circle that I have. And we still are. We're still at a very transformative place. And it's amazing because now I'm seeing and I'm like meeting people where I have to test the waters of staying in a high vibration while they're still, it's not that they're like below me or anything like that. It's just sometimes when we're going through this awakening, which we go through several, but this transformative time, sometimes it's hard to raise yourself to this level because everything's just so painful. Everything's just so hurtful. Everything's just so much. You feel so much. You almost feel so much that you don't want to feel anything. So you go numb. And I was kind of in this energy not too long ago. I was in this energy, the past few days where I didn't want to feel anything. So I literally went numb. Oops. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. And it's rough. It's rough, and I feel you. All of you going out there, all of those who support me, who I know I've talked to, this is for y'all. Because shift happens. Shit happens, shift happens. And it happens through all the bullshit. But we have to know when it's time to take our power back. We have to know what steps. It looks big and it feels big when we feel we got to move past something. And it's this huge, huge thing. And it looks impossible. It's just like this. I'm going to try and not be ironic, but this giant wall that you have to climb over or just tear down. But it looks so overwhelming until you create steps, small steps to get over this time, this transformation, this pain, this anguish. And as a person, if you're a person who's watching this and you're kind of at a place where the loved ones that you have are going through their transformation, they're going through this other awakening, they're raising their vibration. Something that I've learned just recently is that, no one's going to accept. Okay, so here's the thing. If you're in a position like me, you and I both know that it takes a lot to learn these lessons. We had to do some hard work and hard realizations to get to this point. It wasn't without work and, mindfulness and responsibility and, just taking these steps, but it didn't happen in one day. And we definitely felt those lows, and we definitely felt times where it was hopeless. And we had to really come to our own realizations. Now, you can try and share all your knowledge that you've gained with people, but they're not going to receive it until they're ready to receive it. Their hearts have to be ready, not just their minds. Their hearts have to be open, not just their minds. And the best thing you can remind them of is love. The best thing you can remind them of is how they are wonderful and beautiful in their own essence, that they are enough, that they are love, and that they are amazing, they are whole. Because sometimes that is exactly what we lose sight of. Sure, we have to dive deep and face past trauma and face, certain things in our lives, but at the core of it, to get through that, to really move through that, we have to remember, who we are. It's not always about going back to who we were or finding ourselves. It's about remembering and taking steps to fully awakening to the best version of ourselves and keep pressing forward to that. So if you are having a loved one going through that, if you feel like there are messages you need to give them, then so be it. But at the same time, don't forget to just be there and tell them that you love them, and after you give them the messages that you have to give them, let it go. Let them figure it out. Plant those seeds and leave them alone. The only thing is, the difference between picking a flower and loving a flower is nurturing the flower and picking it. So you don't want to pick someone up to make them like your project. You want to help those around you, love them, nurture them. Don't do it to a codependent extent. I do want to touch on that. But you know what I mean? Just your presence, if they ask for your perspective, have it. Definitely not from a codependent perspective. Have your boundaries. It's important to have those boundaries, because sometimes the pain is so much that people end up unintentionally depending on other people for their growth and to teach them things. And even though it's not intentional, it is important that we recognize that and kind of set those boundaries. But I know that a lot of people have been going through this. If you have, definitely share that with the class. No matter what side of the fence you're on, or even if you're on the fence. I feel like, at least in my reality, my perspective, the people I'm surrounded by, and those who resonate with this video, ooh, like that, so much shit, so much pain, so much purging. And I think the messages I've been getting are about getting back to the wounds. Sometimes we place someone as the catalyst of certain wounds, when in reality it goes further back than that. It goes way beyond this person, this situation, this thing, and it's painful to kind of reach a little further and figure out what it really is, what it really was. So that is a message I want to tell you guys. So in your journals, if I'm going to do two sides, I'm still purging a lot, and I've done a lot of work. I'm always going to do work on myself. That's never going to end. These detox will never end if that's what it's about. Ever. So, on one end, if you're a person that is going through a lot of pain, if you're going through a lot of heartache, if you have to make decisions, whether it be to cut a job out, cut a person out, cut people out, a group of friends, that's been happening a lot. Just whatever you have to do, the biggest message that I've been getting for you guys is, are your decisions coming from the heart space? Have you been really dealing with wounds within yourself from a genuine place of want, a genuine place of desire, to be the best version that you can be? Sometimes we do have to do the hard things. We have to take hard actions, but the actions aren't just about cutting people off or moving or whatever. Actions are also taking responsibility. Actions are also seeing how our reactions have hurt other people. Also seeing why we feel what we feel. Is it simply a reflection of what is, or a reflection of past pain, things we haven't forgiven about ourselves, things that, and I just went through this yesterday. I just recognized this yesterday. I was projecting my pain into a situation that simply was something else, but it changed my entire perspective. So I feel like that's something that you guys could definitely reflect on. in your journals. On the other side, if you are a person that's really like done your work and and of course you're going to keep doing your work, you know how this works, you know what I'm talking about. Definitely set some boundaries for yourself in your journal, but also, figure out how you want to grow from this. Seeing the people you love, how can you be there for them, and how can you be for yourself? Are these energies affecting you? And is it time to really focus on you, even though they're going through their stuff? What kind of things boundaries do you have to set up so that you can balance both, or just balance yourself? Really, really important. What are certain things that my throat started closing up? What other things do you have to speak? Are there, I actually had to do this. I haven't forgotten. It's just, whenever I'm trying to speak from spirit, I don't really relate it to myself, but I actually did go through something like this where, even though logically, especially if you're a person that practices mindfulness and the reality of the situation, you can separate your emotion from the reality of the situation. The thing is speak what you feel. And I trust you guys to do that in a very loving way, because I do feel this energy of knowing how to do that. Being mature enough to separate yourself from the situation. It's not reactive, you know how to back up and, separate what is and what isn't, the differences between how you feel and how things are. So with this beautiful thing you've learned, the thing also is that also understand that if you feel something, it's still valid, as well as if you keep feeling it, maybe it's time to just open up about it, even if you know it's not true, even if you know it's not real. Maybe it's time to really open your heart and open your throat chakra. Speak it. And, in my situation, I had to let a certain person know that, hey, this is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of me and my insecurities and the things I've been through. But it's something I really need to say. And, even though I was really afraid of hurting their feelings, I was really afraid of them thinking that that's actually how I thought and felt, they understood. And if someone's really, really loves you and really wants to be in your life, then, or if a job's meant for you or whatever situation, they're going to understand. They're going to see it from a loving place. You know what I mean? Even if it's a person that you feel might not, maybe it's just you can write a letter and then burn it. I feel like there's communication that's needed. And now I'm being, this is, I was trying to just keep it 15 minutes. I'm going to go to the fence and then I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let this video go. People who are on the fence, it's time to choose a side. People who are on the fence, figure out what side works best for you. There's no wrong answer. I know that one looks better than the other, but the thing is you can't skip steps. So if you are in a place of pain and hurt and you're feeling like all these, all this anger and all this inner torment, you know what I mean? But that's a part of the journey. It's not a place. The shadow side isn't something to be ashamed of. If that's something you have to go through so that you can make it to the other side, that is extremely important. You know what I mean? It's extremely important that you go through the process, rather than try to skip steps and rush, because there is an appreciation in the process. So if you're on the fence, don't feel like you're wrong for needing to go through this shadow of the, what's it called? Pretty much your shadow side. It's like the shadow side of the journey. Dark night of the soul, so to speak. That is absolutely vital in your growth. And it doesn't mean you're less than, and it doesn't mean that you're not awakened. If anything, it means that, what is awakening? If anything, you're just become aware of what's going on, and that's okay. Now, if you're on the fence and you kind of already gone through that and it hurt, you went through all the hurt and now you're just kind of like in limbo, maybe it's time to move to the other side and really start being active in that growth, being active in those choices, being active in all the things I just said for that side. But you have to trust your intuition. You need to trust yourself and your own heart and figure out where you need to go, because it's very, very important. So anyway, I love you guys. Shift happens, okay? So I hope that this journal entry helps you. I love you guys. I really do. You know, like I said, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what kind of journey you're on. Hell, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next, well, tea talk. Bye.